Hello and welcome back to Tech Focus. First off, I want to say thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed this week. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. We went from 34 to 68 subscribers. It doubled the number this week. So yes, thank you very much. Please, I hope you'll stick around and make suggestions on what we can do on the channel. I really appreciate your feedback and input. But yeah, thank you so much. That was a lovely surprise for this week. I'm so happy. Thank you. But today we're going to be looking at this thing again, which is the Dial Smartcuff, and I've been using this all week. So I've been putting it through its paces. I've been trying out as much as possible to try and give you more information. I have a few concerns about the actual design of everything and the way it functions. But I'll let you know what these are. So I'm going to move the camera down again, and we're going to have a look at the smart cuff itself. I might shift around so you can get an over-the-shoulder shot of me playing with it. And we're going to have a look at Anida, battery life, as well as some of the design problems that I've found. Okay, so I'm just going to shift the camera down, and we're back in a sec. Okay, so I've shifted round. I am now behind the camera, so you can see what goes on with this. First of all, the design of this. I want to point out that I have the extender on because, as I said before, the size of my wrists is quite large. This is the large cuff. Sorry about that. I had to cut because there was some idiot went past on a very loud bike. Yeah, there are some idiots around here. Anyway, putting it on my wrist, in everyday situations it seems fine. Until I'm walking along the street and it slips down to my wrist here. Might not think that's a problem, but yesterday, when I was putting my backpack on, I have a tendency to bend my wrist to try and get it through the thing, and you probably just saw it there. It pops. If I was to, for example, put the face on the inside and do that, that's quite a large problem. And then I'm going to make sure it claps back together. It also grabs the hairs in my arm. Ow! Which is a little bit painful. But there we go. So when it's up higher on the wrist, it's fine, no problems, I can do this all day. But as soon as I start walking and it slips down, pop, it comes open. So either they need to have a bigger extender on there, or make it just slightly larger for bigger wrists. If you've got a smaller wrist, then well done. It'll fit you perfectly. Okay, so that's that. The battery, let me talk about the battery. So as we know, this whole section here is the battery of the cuff. I've been testing this all week to try and figure out how long it would last. It goes from 0% charge to 100% charge via the wall adapter in around 90 minutes. So you'll get a full charge in about 90 minutes from zero. You can also top it up if you're at work, plug it into your computer. It's a little bit awkward because you probably want to have it on your wrist all the time. When I did the proper testing, I charged it to full. I connected the Bluetooth headphones to this, and I just streamed music over 4G. And I got around about 4 hours before it decided it wanted to tell me there was 2% energy left. So you just get a little over 4 hours streaming over 3G. Over Wi-Fi I got a little bit more. I got 4.5 hours of streaming. For calls you get around about 6 to 8 hours of talk time on this thing. And the standby lasts around a day and a bit. I would suggest that you don't leave it until the second day to charge it. I'd charge it each night. So as you go to bed, just pop it on your nightstand with the charger attached, and that should be okay. So yes, it does last about 4.5 hours streaming over Wi-Fi into your Bluetooth headphones. The headphones themselves, I just want to talk about those for a second. They are okay for a little while. I found after an hour they really started to hurt. Mainly because the left one didn't fit my ear properly. The right one was fine. I think everybody has different ears. So the fact that they're solid plastic headphones as well really made it a problem for me. Especially in my left ear, I had to keep wiggling it because it felt insecure. I think that wiggling caused the pain. After an hour and a half, my ear went numb, so I couldn't feel the pain anymore, which I suppose was okay. The earphones themselves are a little bit tinny. I found that there wasn't too much bass response, probably because they don't fit right in my ears. When I pushed them in further, it was painful, but I got a little bit of better bass response from. I would suggest probably having your own Bluetooth headphones, if I'm honest. In a few weeks' time, I'm going to be getting the V-Moda wireless, I hope. So I'll also do a tech focus video on that one. And yeah, I'd suggest the V-Moda are my favorite headphones at the moment. So anyway, that's the headphones. The battery on that lasted. I couldn't get it to run out in a day. To be honest, I had them on all day, and yeah, they lasted well on one charge. In the evening when I got back, I put them on charge again. In the morning, they lasted pretty much all day. I didn't notice them switch off. I streamed music at work. I listened to some music that I'd loaded onto the phone on the way home. Yeah, seemed okay. I made calls. Telephone calls on this then. With the Bluetooth headset, it's fine. The other person can hear you fairly well. Not as good as a regular telephone, because it's all hands-free, I suppose. So you get that little bit of distance sounding from the other end. With the Bluetooth earphones not connected, everyone can hear your conversation quite easily. The speaker in this thing is loud. And when you want to listen to music, if you haven't got your Bluetooth headphones connected on the tube, it's going to be a little bit embarrassing because everyone can hear your taste in music. Especially this week when I've been listening to the Pong dance a little bit too much. So yes, calls on this are fine. The camera, I wouldn't say it's great quality on the camera. It's okay for a quick selfie, but it says 2 megapixels. It comes out quite grainy when you take a picture. I found that. And, you know, I would suggest if you just wanted something quick to share to your Twitter, fine. If you wanted something to have a good memory, it's really not that great. Microphone seems to be good at picking things up. This button here, this Anida button, slight complaint. It's very sensitive and it gets triggered on my leather jacket. Yes, my leather jacket can trigger this. So my leather jacket, when it's resting on here, ends up doing that. And then it comes off. And then it goes back on. And I get that noise a fair amount when I'm wearing my leather jacket. So yeah, it also, if you don't keep the screen clean, the actual, oh, no, don't do that. The actual touches and presses become a little bit more tricky to action. Text messaging, I haven't really used that much. It's not too bad though. This QWERTY keyboard that's here, pressing it is fine. It's okay at getting most of your actions right on the first time. If you're worried about it, you can hold it down and it will give you an option which one you're going to press as like an approximation. The much better way to do this is with voice dictation. The voice dictation I found is run by Nuance, so their Dragon Dictate software is much better than any others that I've found on the market. Yeah. Mail syncs okay. I've had no problems with mail. Other subscribers, thank you very much for the subscriptions, guys. I really do appreciate it. So the mail, I've got 3 mailboxes on here. I've got my Gmail, I've got my Xperienced TV mail, and I've got another one on there as well. And I find that's fine. It notifies me quite well. I would like a snooze option on there, so that when I'm going to bed, it doesn't make noises. I don't wish to manually put it onto silent all the time. But then that's just mine. Schedule, it does sync with my Gmail calendar quite well, and it's quite nice. So I'm enjoying that. You can also create appointments with Anida. Time, obviously here, set an alarm, but we've got other things that have come in very handy. I don't know if you can see that because it's, I don't know, the refresh rate is a bit weird. So alarm, stopwatch, timer, and world clock. I found I've used a stopwatch a few times, which I found quite useful. Okay. And the timer, which I've obviously used for cooking. It's very good. Very loud as well when it goes off. Maps. Now, for the maps, doing satellite navigation... Oh, whatever. Doing satellite navigation on this thing, I found requires the high accuracy, which does drain the battery quite a lot. It doesn't seem to take much traffic into account, and when I did use it, it didn't route me around the traffic like Google Maps did. You can probably see there, maps are powered by here. I do like the feature that you can search nearby for restaurants and things like that. That's very handy. Snaps, like I said, the pictures, if I go back to my face, when you put that onto a computer and put it onto full size, it is quite grainy. It doesn't look great. The selfie camera, obviously, music and what's playing. Now, the what's playing isn't bad. I've tried it a few times, and it's not going to recognize anything because I'm speaking. I've tried it a few times, and it has recognized them, I'd say, with an 80% success rate. I've tried it against Shazam. Now, Shazam is a lot more accurate than this, I find. This is powered by Grace Note, and while Shazam can get more obscure tracks that I've tried it with, this one can't. This one also incorrectly identified a couple of tracks from the intro, but later on it correctly identified the track again. The activity monitor is great. As you can see today, I've done nothing. 17 steps, that's just from me getting it off of charge and bringing it downstairs, even though I've gone shopping today. And yeah, what time did I wake up? 10:26. I didn't. Working out is not bad. I haven't used this yet because I don't really go running or cycling or walking. The skills, yeah. Let's talk about skills, baby. The skills here, there are only 5. That's it. They said that there's going to be more. I've been waiting to see if there's any more in the first week of launch, but there's nothing. The flights skill I haven't used. Image feed is all right. It only gets information from Flickr, from what I can see. Now is okay. That reads out the news, which is not too bad. It's also started now to grab stuff from Twitter. Twitter, I've used it a couple of times. It's okay, but the problem is when you want to tweet something, you tweet it, then it asks you for confirmation. So it brings it up on it brings it up on kind of like the Twitter app, and then it asks you to press OK, or you can add to the message instead of just sending it without further interaction. Bringing up the feed was all right as well. And Yelp obviously is the one on the maps that gets you all of the services that you need, like petrol stations, cafes, bars, restaurants, and all that stuff. That works quite well as well. I managed to find a couple of good sushi restaurants nearby. And finally, the settings. Now, when you look at the settings, the most interesting one on here is the location service. You've got 3 settings for location. We've got battery saving mode at the moment, which is using the Wi-Fi and mobile networks to determine location. You can turn just the GPS chip on, so it's just the GPS itself that will determine your location, and you have high accuracy, which is GPS, Wi-Fi, and mobile networks to do it. High accuracy does drain the battery quite a bit. People have been saying about this phone using Android. Now, I've been looking at this, and under here, kernel version is 3.4. Now, that's a Linux kernel, which does actually incorporate part of Android as well. What I do want to show you is I have found that this is an Android phone. You can access the Android testing menu on this phone. I'll show you how to do that. So all you do, you go to the call, and I'm not sure you're supposed to do this, and you type in *#, can you see that? And 4636. And then #*. And that should bring up the Android testing menu. See? So that is on Android. So you can run a ping test on the network, which network it is, the signal strength that you're getting, location IDs. So you can just basically see all the diagnostic information for that. You can also turn off the radio and turn on and off different items. And then you've got battery information. So it tells you what the battery is. So currently my battery is at 54. The health is good. The battery voltage is 3,803 millivolts, so 3.8 volts. So yes, it does look like it's based off of Android. So I can confirm that. Bugs. There's one there. Okay, bugs on the phone. Problems I found with it. When you're connected to your Bluetooth headphones, and then you turn those headphones off, it mutes the speaker. And you can't get that speaker back on until you reboot the phone, which is a slight problem. So if you have your Bluetooth headphones connected, then you disconnect them, and then you wonder why you can't hear anything, it's because it hasn't reset the audio. You have to turn it off and back on again. The voice activation section has crashed on me a couple of times. That's how I know it's made by Nuance, because that process died. So again, I had to reboot the phone to do that. And what other bugs have I found on here? Sometimes when you cut off a song midway, you then can't stream it. It stops the streaming service from working properly, and you have to skip to the next song next time you start it up. I found that clearing the cache and rebooting the phone does help that, and I'll show you how to clear the cache on this. There it is. So on the Play app, okay, ignore that. So on the Play, go down to Settings, and then at the bottom there you can see Clear Cache. I would like to have some slightly different ones here. The analog ones are very difficult to see. The speaker itself is quite loud, so if I was to play you some of my, what some of my friends would call my poor taste in music. It's even got a little bit of bass on there. I can't play that too much because that's a copyrighted song. I can't think of anything more. The ergonomics of this thing, it's very comfortable to wear. It's no heavier than a normal watch that I would put on my wrist. So if you're used to wearing a watch, you wouldn't really notice it. Can this replace a smartphone, though? That's the question. The answer is, yeah, it probably could, actually. The thing with this is it doesn't have a web browser or anything like that. It is purely phone calls, music streaming, Twitter, social media kind of stuff, and satellite navigation. If you're looking for games to play or anything like that, there's none. Maybe that might change with the addition of new skills or apps if they have an app store in the future. But at the moment, there is nothing. So if you want to play games and browse the web, obviously get yourself a proper phone. So here we can see this is what I was using to test out if it was based off of Android. So all the secret codes for different phones. Yes. So this phone can do web browsing, takes much better pictures as well. But if you just want something that you can go out with and you don't have to really worry too much about losing it because it's attached to your wrist, unless your wrist is big and you end up popping it open, that needs to be a lot stronger, I think, then this will actually be very good. It's on a 2-year contract, so you have to think, do I want to be stuck with this for 2 years? I wouldn't mind. It's not a bad telephone to be using, and you do look a little bit like Michael Knight from Knight Rider. I think if I can change Anita's name to Kit, it would be much more interesting. But yes, so far I like this. I think it is worth it. Those are a few concerns that I have, mainly about this clasp thing here being a little bit easy to open if you just bend your wrist. Like I said, I did drop this yesterday because of that. But apart from that, the battery life seems to be pretty good. I put it on charge every night when I go to bed, and it seems to last the whole day. The streaming is really nice, only a couple of glitches for that. Yeah, and I think that's really all. If there are any other questions, just leave a comment on this video, and I will try to answer them as well. But I think that's all for this. So thank you very much for subscribing and watching this video. Any questions about the Dial, please put them in the comments below. And anything you'd like to see on this channel, please let me know. I look forward to showing you guys whatever you'd like to see. I do gameplay videos, so if there's any games you want me to play and have a look at, then let me know. I will start doing retro games as well from this week. Look out for Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES. And yeah, I think I'll do another tech focus later on about the origin of virtual reality. So stay tuned for that in a week or two's time. And then also stay tuned for the unboxing and testing of the V-Moda wireless. But thank you very much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you liked it. If you didn't, please don't do anything. And yeah, thank you very much. Until the next time, until the next video, catch you later. Bye.